Buzzworthy TV gets small, how choice, tech, and attention are reshaping what we watch. And is Netflix good for movie theaters? This is episode 87 of Media Unplugged, the podcast that goes behind the spin to reveal what's really happening in media.
Media Unplugged with Tom Asacker and Mark Ramsey.
Welcome to Media Unplugged. I'm Mark Ramsey.
And I'm Tom Asacker.
Tom, an entirely too long title, I know. Buzzworthy TV gets small, how choice, tech, and attention are reshaping what we watch.
I don't even know how you can get those words out of your mouth without stumbling over them.
I know, it's a struggle. Well, we were working across a bunch of articles today, one of which was from Media Village, one from eMarketer, and one even from The Hollywood Reporter, all on this subject of TV getting small and big at the same time. And and it relates to our second topic as well. So let's dive into it.
Yeah.
The first piece from Media Village, it's a smart TV device world after all. Lots of surprising stats in here. Usually when we hear about kind of the magnifying universe of television options and the shrinking devices on which we view those options, the thinking is, well, we're going to view more shorter things on smaller, more convenient handheld devices, right?
Oh, well, that was the thinking.
That was the thinking. It turns out it's not so. There's a growing percentage of audience, according to the big companies like Hulu, YouTube, and Refinery29, a growing percentage of their audience is not watching their content via smartphone, tablet, or computer. No. They're watching their content in one way or another through the television set.
How about that?
Here we're talking about both connected TVs and the connected devices that go to the TVs, the Amazon Fires, the Apple TVs, the Rokus like I have. And we're talking about a rising kind of chorus of over-the-top platforms, some of which haven't even come out yet. DC Universe from Warner Brothers, Warner Media is not out yet. There's a bunch of stuff that's not out yet that's coming.
Disney's platform is coming, right?
Disney's platform is a perfect example. So the statistics are really quite remarkable. There's a growing sense that penetration of smart sets and devices has reached critical mass in the U.S. TV households, in the U.S. TV households universe, and usage of these products are still in forward momentum mode. Listen to these stats. According to Nielsen, 76 million or 63% of all TV households possess at least one smart set or device, a more than 50% increase from winter 2016 to 17.
That's huge.
That is astounding.
Yep. You know, it's funny. There's an old Chinese expression, may you live in interesting times. I don't know if anyone's really sure if it's a blessing or it's a curse, because it's been used in both ways. But either way, these are interesting times for media brands. And increasingly for the brands who've relied on the media to tell their stories and help move their products for the past 100 years. I mean, think about what is going on out here. The whole system is up for grabs. I mean, no one is really sure how this is going to all play out. Let's look at you and I. Let's just talk about video for a second, right? Sure. Because it's big. I mean, TV advertising is still, digital hasn't caught up yet. It may catch up in the next few years. But let's look at video, which is pervasive because of the collapsing barriers to production and distribution. I still don't believe people understand how many videos are on YouTube. I don't even know if they can even measure it, right? But if you get a clear view of this unfolding future, let's think about how people are going to watch video. Like you said, there was an assumption that everyone is just going to start watching short little things on their phone, I guess.
Right.
So you got the phone, you've got the computer that people still use, right? If you're at your desk, if you're kicking back on your dormitory bed, you're looking at your computer maybe. You've got smart TVs, and then VR is, virtual reality is going to come along at some point.
Sure.
So you've got these 4 screens. The competition right now for the phone is out of control. Mm-hmm. Everyone's jumping into that with anything they can think of. Mm-hmm. The TV set is going to be the other big competitive arena. And like you said, you rattled them off. Roku, Chromecast, Apple TV, Fire, all of these guys. What do you think that they're going to do in partnerships? We're already starting to see it happen. They're not going to let you get a Roku stick and stick it in the back of a TV. They're going to make a Roku TV. so that you can't unplug that stick and stick another one in it. And so is Apple, and so is Amazon. This is the future. It's I can see it unfolding right before my eyes. What's going to happen? It's going to be really interesting.
So where do you think that's going to go? Because I mean, with the exception of Apple, because if Apple makes anything, it has a particular, luster to it that other makers and products don't have. But other than that, I mean, an Amazon TV, an Amazon Fire TV doesn't sound like the must-have product of 2019, does it?
I saw it at Best Buy.
But that doesn't make it the must-have product of 2019.
Okay, all right. I'll tell you what. You want me to give you a must-have product?
Yeah.
Just roll with me on this, okay? And I know nothing about this. This is coming from the top of my head, so take it or leave it. It doesn't matter. So who's going to control the access to the eyeballs? Because that's what having this connected TV is about. It's not you saying I'm not going to allow other content on it. It's owning the home screen.
Well, I mean, for example, look at what Google's doing with Google TV right now. You can cut the cord and get a decent volume of an ever-growing and decent volume of channels in a lot of markets in the U.S. right now, including the one I'm in.
Right.
And you can do it through Google. You can do it through Chromecast. And you never have to watch another any other option again if you don't want to, assuming you can get it through Google.
Assuming you can get it through Google, right? So look, this is what's going to go on. Here it is. I'll give you the hypothetical. You tell me why this won't happen. You see how Amazon is bundling everything that they do so that you don't really know what they make money on? You just don't know, right?
Right. That's right.
All right. So let's say Walmart says, okay, we have our own streaming service, right, with Vudu. And what we're going to do is we are going to build that with a partner into a Walmart, into a Vudu smart TV. Mm-hmm. And we're going to own access to the OTT market through this television screen. And you know how much the TV costs? Nothing. Come to Walmart and get a 50-inch TV.
You're saying Walmart essentially gives away the TV.
Why not? They could monetize everything with advertising if they wanted to. Bezos is going that direction now. He's offering an advertising package. You and I are paying this membership for Prime, and now he's offering some other thing where you get ads with it. It's really interesting what's happening.
It is interesting. I'm a little uncertain of where it's going to go, frankly, although I see the directionality just as you do. And I find it fascinating that I can last night be watching, episode 5 of Jack Ryan starring John Krasinski on Amazon Prime, paid for by the fact that I'm getting, paper towels shipped to my home. It's a strange.
This is what I'm trying.
It's a strange thing.
You're right. Listen, you know what they're going to do, Mark? Whatever the consumer will tolerate. Bezos has been putting advertising on some of these games now, like video games, and the gamers are pissed off. Like, what are you doing? We paid for this. What are you doing with these ads on here? So they're going to do whatever, like a drip, 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 to see what people are going to tolerate. That's what they're going to do, to see what the model is, because no one knows what the model is. That's what's very interesting. It's being built right before our eyes. We're watching this whole new thing take shape. In which way is it going to go? I don't know. It depends on which way everyone moves and pushes and pulls.
Here's what I'll tell you. If a Walmart were to be at the center of this new universe, then a Walmart's going to have to be a hell of a lot more invested in content than it is today.
Yeah. Okay. That's a no-brainer, right?
One thing I can say about Amazon, with all due respect to Jack Ryan, you don't really go to Amazon and say they have the best original content.
Yeah, I get it.
In a digital place.
But then again, Amazon wasn't a movie studio either. So it's not like you can't do it.
Oh, no, it's possible. No, absolutely, It's possible. But you look at these situations, you look across platforms, and you see, so Sacha Baron Cohen has been like the prime driver to Showtime subscription over the past year.
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is.
Showtime isn't making televisions. Jack Ryan, I'm sure, is going to be influential in driving Prime subscriptions under the assumption that there's much headroom left there. Frankly, it's hard for me to imagine there is, in the U.S. anyway. We know that Handmaid's Tale has been huge in the growth of Hulu, because in the absence of Handmaid's Tale, I mean, I can't even think of what Hulu has. So it's interesting that content is at the center of all these things. But if there's anything that's scarce other than raw human attention, Tom, it's great content.
Oh, I know.
It?
Believe me. Listen, I've got Amazon Prime and Netflix, and I have to search all over the place to find something to watch, which is kind of crazy if you think about how many channels are on these things.
Not only that, but has it struck you how incredibly difficult it is to keep it all straight? I mean, my wife and I are sitting there thinking, wait a minute. Okay, we want to see the show with that woman who was on Fringe, the Australian show. Is that Amazon?
Yeah.
Or is that Netflix? And the cost of making the wrong decision means you're fumbling around the wrong platform. You have to back out. You have to go to the right platform. You have to fumble around there.
Oh, I know. I get the looks. Believe me, I get it. Listen, that's why what's happening in the world of content is what happened in the world of consumer packaged goods. Once the shelves become jammed with stuff, now who is best at getting your attention? It call it findability. I mean, there's some great stuff on Netflix. You just don't know how to find it.
Well, you don't know how to find it, and there's only. I mean, look, it's what anybody says about anything. There's only so much time, right?
Well, yeah, they're not making any. I wish they would.
No, so I mean, it's such an interesting puzzle. But boy, if I'm Walmart looking at this situation, I've got to be looking at it with some degree of envy, saying, wait a minute, what is it that Amazon's done exactly that we couldn't have engineered ourselves if we had started doing it 5, 10, 15 years ago?
Right. Okay. You know what? True. But also look at, what I think is going to be a key tipping point is this article that you sent regarding the NFL and what their eventual decision is going to be once their contract expires with the networks in 2022. Mm-hmm. Think about that, Mark. I mean, the reason that they're not doing it right now is, number one, yes, they have a contract. The other thing is they're nervous about the quality of the live stream, right, online.
Right, sure.
They're nervous about
the reliability of it, yeah.
Right. So they're saying, hey, wait a minute, what if this thing goes down, Now, imagine we get all that right by 2022, and one of these, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Walmart, whoever they are, gets the contract exclusive. Do you know what the signups will be like? It's ridiculous. People think that this is like something to do with reach, and you want to increase the reach? Tell every American if they want to watch the Super Bowl or the World Series, they have to have a smart TV device. That's it.
That's right.
All done. Because you look at what happened, just like pro boxing. People want to watch like the Mayweather-McGregor fight. They spent $100 to watch one fight that could have lasted 20 seconds. So all you do is you go get these big events, and you and I talked about big events a lot. Get the big event. You'll drive the signups.
Let's talk about some of the ratings winners and losers, because it kind of relates to this topic. And I found some of these trends to be fascinating because so many of the rising ratings winners, as it were, come from unexpected places. And so many of the tried and trues are still big, but they're clearly being cannibalized by some of these new shows.
Right.
For example, Yellowstone on the Paramount Network, formerly Spike, I think. Which is the Kevin Costner Western saga, 5.3 million viewers in Live Plus 7. I mean, that's just plain huge, no matter what their age is.
Oh yeah.
We talked about the Sacha Baron Cohen thing with Showtime. Sharp Objects, 7 million weekly viewers across platforms, which is not only is that remarkable, but for a series toned that way,
right?
So incredibly dark. That just strikes me as stunning. America's Got Talent. NBC is seeing an average 3.0 rating among adults, 14 million viewers, which is pretty amazing. There are a bunch of reality shows, ABC Sunday game shows, $100,000 Pyramid, To Tell the Truth, they were able to improve their numbers, and they're doing the reality things like TLC, Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh, jeez.
2.9 million viewers in Live Plus 7. The Losers, the World Cup is down. Broadcast TV in general, they say, is down.
Right.
America's Got Talent may still be number one, but Tuesday episodes are down 12% compared to a year ago. The Bachelorette is off 8.5%. Love Connection, World of Dance, Big Brother is down 19%.
That's what, yeah. Look.
But you know what's worse than that? Scripted broadcast shows. Unbelievable. The summer's top-rated scripted show in adults 18 to 49 in Live Plus 3 is the canceled Code Black at 1.1.
This is what I'm telling you.
Unbelievable.
That goes to show you what the level of competition is doing.
Yeah, so these prestige scripted things that are off-network on cable, over the top, or whatever, are sucking up that kind of prestige audience, and what's left is the audience for kind of the live game show,
Exactly.
the competition show, the so-called unscripted reality show. It's changing the face of television. I think in the long run, you look forward and say, well, other than yet another Murphy Brown, yet another Magnum PI, which are both coming back, the new shows that we're going to see on television are not going to be on broadcast at all. They'll either be reality shows on broadcast or they'll be off-network shows, cable, over the top, etc. And that's where the prestige stuff is going to show up. Even Fear the Walking Dead is flat to down from what it had been accustomed to doing. And I don't need to say that the Walking Dead franchise, when it comes back in October, it's like 6, 7, 8 seasons deep now.
Right.
It's only got another couple of seasons in it. It's really a fast-changing world, and it's changing in really unpredictable ways. And even though a lot of it's being mediated by the quality of the content, I say again, Tom, there's only so many stars, there's only so many showmakers, there are only so many good ideas, and there's only so much will to market it to a mass audience. It's not every show that can get a above-the-box banner on Amazon.
Yeah, but look.
Not Amazon Prime, Amazon.
No, I'm with you. But look, when you say, there's only so many shows, so much talent, so it's a world market now. I don't know about you, but I've watched some great British, I've watched some great Australian productions. There's some great stuff from India coming over. There's a flood of content. So
that's true.
This is wide open. I mean, now's the time. If you're trying to figure out the future, you best create it.
Well, we better get off this podcast. What are we doing?
I don't know.
You're listening to Media Unplugged with Tom Asacker and Mark Ramsey. Tom, related topic really, is Netflix good for movie theaters? Now, this is fascinating to me, and I've tried like hell to dig out some metrics that challenge some of the premises of this article. And I think they are so cleverly hidden that I can't possibly find them. So maybe you can help me.
Oh, I'm not sure. I had a problem with it too.
So here's the piece from Ad Age. Despite Netflix, movie theaters had best summer in decades. Now, I love the fact that, first of all, Netflix has nothing to do with movie theaters. And here they are hauled into the title of this article because the premise is that in a world of Netflix with all that choice, you wouldn't possibly go to see anything in a movie theater, even though, as we all well know, movie theaters have this stubborn habit of bringing us $200 and $300 million tentpole opuses, if that's a word, that will never be seen on Netflix, but for 6 to 12 months, if then. So I mean,
not just
they're kind of comparing two different things.
It's like comparing a night out at a restaurant is the same thing as bringing home food from that same restaurant. It's not the same thing.
No. It's like saying a night out at a restaurant compared to bringing home that food in 6 months. Okay, I'm bringing it home, but I can only eat it in 6 months. That's what it means. And people are saying, you know what? I want that wonderful meal tonight. I don't want to wait for that wonderful meal for 6 months. That's what it's like. So here's the piece, basically. Okay, they're having a great summer. There are a lot of big movies out this year. Notice I said big, not great. But the conclusion of the guy from the National Association of Theater Owners, hardly an unbiased spokesperson, the notion that streaming has led to a decline in cinema attendance is really over-exaggerated. By the way, over-exaggerated.
I know, that's
means,
kind of like a run-on. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
it's like you don't really need the over and exaggerate. That whole statement is over-exaggerated, if you ask me. So summer ticket revenue, and again, they're confusing, though, not just the number of theater visits with revenue, but they're assuming that theater visits correspond to theater goers. You know, and these are the stats I can't find. It's easy to find how much money is spent in a movie theater.
Right.
That amount of money is a function of repeat visits and ticket prices, first, assuming the number of theaters is stable, which it generally is. So those numbers are on the rise this particular year after being off terribly last year with some in the presence of some lackluster fare at the movie theater. What I cannot find, Tom, is any indication that there are either more or fewer actual people going to the movie theaters this year. What I can tell you is the average price of a ticket this year is up fairly significantly from $8.97 last year to $9.27 this year. This is the first time average ticket price has passed $9, and it's vaulted past $9 to $9.27. So these numbers don't take into account, you know, you talk about the movies and crowded theaters and talk about box office and so on. What they don't take into account, besides inflation, is higher ticket prices, whether or not there are actual different bodies coming to the theaters. And then, of course, they always make their projections right at the end of summer, which is a really good time to make them because you don't have to make a bet yet about the fall. You can hope that A Star Is Born is going to be huge, which I doubt. You can hope that Mary Poppins Returns is going to be huge, which I doubt. But you don't have to make those bets just yet. So I found this to be very frustrating. The conclusion that streaming has nothing to do with the theatrical experience is questionable. Simply adding up the big tentpole movies, by the way, of which Walt Disney has a bigger portion of than ever, which is, you know, virtually all tentpole stuff. So what's your take?
Yeah, no, look, it almost felt like a promotion to me because, like you said,
yes, it did.
There were so many variables that no one can point to anything other than here's what happened. We're not sure why. You know, it's kind of like if somebody had like all of the data at like this real finite level into some huge computer that could like do its AI magic on it, that thing could spit back out and go, hey, you know what we've discovered? This summer, it was so hot and humid and rainy that people filled the movie theaters. Who knows? I mean, it could be weather related for all we know. You know, it
could be, but you know that out there somewhere are stats that say, look, we've got, you know, repeat visitors, and you know, repeat visitors are great. What I'm talking about are people who have dropped off the map altogether because, you know, I can wait until that umpteenth Thor movie comes out on Netflix, on Amazon Prime, on wherever. I can wait. I don't need to go to the movie theater right now. I'm happy to rent it down the road in 3 months.
No, I'm with you.
And
look,
that's what's not being factored in.
No, they're not. And, you know, and we've said it a million times. It's an experience. It's not the same. To put Netflix up on the same line doesn't. Look, I took my daughter golfing the other day. I could have gone to the driving range and saved a whole lot of money, you know, and I would have saved a lot of golf balls that I hit in water in the woods and all that. But it's not the same experience. Yes, you're swinging a club. Yes, a little white ball is flying through the air. But it's not the same thing. And sitting in front of your television set is not the same thing as going out to a movie, grabbing a bite to eat later with friends, having drinks, talking about the movie. It's still an experience.
Well, that's why I think the golden age of television is where this prestige, adult, dramatic content ends up. Because this is hardly the golden age of movies. This is the golden age of superhero movies, maybe.
Well, I'll make a prediction.
What is it?
I'll predict now that you want a blockbuster at the movie theater, especially on IMAX, and it's not going to be a superhero movie.
Wow.
I'm going to make. I'm going to make.
Yes,
the prediction.
I do. Let's hear what it is.
Okay, and then later on in the future show, we can see if I was even close. The upcoming movie about Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
Watch what I say. Watch what I'm telling you.
You think that's going to be a big one?
I think it's going to be big. If they do a good job of promoting it, I watched just some of the previews and I was like, I had chills. I like wanted to go see the movie. So we'll see.
Well, I've seen the as you know, I get all these things in the fall, right?
Right.
I've seen the previews. I certainly haven't seen the movie yet. I don't even know if it's done yet. But I think you're wrong. But I think you're wrong for a good reason, and that is that I mean, Queen is it's. I get the story. I get the whole thing. Queen is 1,000,000 years old. I mean, that's just 1,000,000 years old. And the guy from iRobot, I can't remember. I'm blanking out on his name.
Yeah, I know.
I hear he's really good in it. I know he's really good in it, even though he's much shorter than Freddie Mercury. I hear he's really good, and who knows? Maybe there's an award in his future.
There's
but
a
I gotta
lot
tell
of
you,
us
since-
1,000,000-year-old people still out there.
I know, but here's the one here's my bet.
Go ahead.
And I don't think it's going to be any bigger than Bohemian Rhapsody, by the way. First Man,
Who's in that?
about Neil Armstrong.
Oh, you think? Well, that's even older than Queen.
Yes, that's true.
Here
That's
you
true.
go
You got
telling
that
me
right.
why I'm wrong, and then you pick something more wrong.
No, I said to you for a fact that it's not going to be any bigger. Well, it might be bigger than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay, well,
Rhapsody,
let's make a little side bet on this. I'll
Okay,
take Bohemian
First
Rhapsody.
Man.
You take First Man, and we'll compare the numbers.
All right. First Man. Okay, I don't know. I'm willing to bet Ryan Gosling over. I can't even remember the guy's name now. From iRobot.
Okay, anybody that agrees with me out there,
boy.
then go to Twitter and hashtag Media Unplugged Bohemian Rhapsody. If you agree with Mark, put
Yes,
Media Unplugged First Man.
Let's check the Q score on Ryan Gosling versus Rami Malek.
There you
please.
go.
And let's see who wins. Okay. It's time for Rants and Raves, Tom.
Oh, man, where do I even begin? There is so much to rant and rave about that I think I'm just gonna. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rattle off a few that caught my attention, and then I'm gonna let you and the listeners find the meaning behind them instead of me ranting on the meaning. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
All right. So first up, and I'm sure everyone has heard about it because that's the point of it, is Nike has signed Colin Kaepernick, the former San Francisco 49ers quarterback, who sparked controversy for kneeling during the national anthem, to a new Just Do It campaign. Now, the tagline is perfect. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. Now, since the announcement, there's been a bit of an online backlash, and Nike stock has taken a little bit of a hit. So time will tell us what Nike really believes in, right? So that's the first one I saw. Next up, I love the fact that the nonprofit organization PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, pressured Nabisco to free its animal crackers. And so the parent company, Mondelez, has dropped the 116-year-old design of caged circus animals from the packaging of Barnum's Animals. So they are now running free, as they should, before we eat them.
So here's the thing, though. Okay, as a one-time consumer of animal crackers, the thing about those little containers is that they're shaped like a cage.
I know. They're not
That's
shaped.
the whole... It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor not for victimizing animals. It's a metaphor for containing all the delicious cookies in one rectangular box that happens to be cage-shaped.
I didn't say it made sense.
I mean?
I said there was meaning in all of these things. You have to find the meaning for yourself.
I don't know. I don't know.
All right,
I don't think that's
where's the
best
meaning
PETA
in this?
move.
According to The Hollywood Reporter, Kevin Spacey's new movie, Billionaire Boys Club, made $126 when it opened across 10 theaters in the United States on August 17th.
It's funny that you mentioned that one because I almost picked that one, and then I saw it everywhere, and I thought, oh, this is too much of a pile on.
126. That means 10 people paid to see Billionaire Boys Clubs.
I honestly don't know how that's even possible.
Well,
first of all,
that's
that it can be that
data.
low. But see, this is why I say to you, people aren't actually going to the movie theaters. It's just people looking for capes and and cowls. That's who's going to the movie theaters now.
All right, I got two more.
Right.
One is, I don't know if you heard of this. There's this new online magazine. It's called this is true. This is not a joke. It's called The Disconnect. It's an offline magazine. Offline only magazine. But
okay.
Did you hear what I'm saying? It's an online magazine, but you cannot read it unless you're offline, because the site uses a browser feature to check whether you're online. If you're online, it won't let you read it when you're online.
So wouldn't it be easier to just make it on paper?
Look, it's a complete paradox. It's a magazine that you can only get to online, but you can't read it online.
It sounds to me like the kind of magazine that's designed for a PR firm to get you to talk about just long enough so you can forget about it and move on to something else.
I have no idea. Look, it shows you that they can track you, but then they don't track you. And many of the stories are about internet behavior patterns that they're asking you to break from. It's kind of interesting.
Nice.
So and then the last but not least, Madame Tussauds Wax Museum.
Oh, this is mine. Now you picked mine. Let's hear it.
Oh, I can't do it then. I'll let you do it.
You got to do it. I want to hear your take on it.
Well, they said that they're done with Australian leaders. It says.
Oh no, I don't know this one.
Oh yeah, it says
I have a different one.
It seems that the turnover in prime ministers is so rapid in Australia that the museum's Sydney outpost can't make wax figures fast enough. so that they're done with them. So that's all I have.
That is great. Well, as you know, if there's anything I specialize in, and it's been months, so let's give ourselves a pat on the back.
You've done really well.
News from the world of wax museums, because I find this anachronistic throwback utterly fascinating. For the fact that people continue to want to go to these places, coincidentally located in high-traffic tourist areas exclusively, and still have some weird fascination with standing next to what amounts to a cardboard cutout of someone that you may recognize or may not from their wax disposition. So anyway, in the news today, I got to give credit to Madame Tussauds, though, because they are marketing geniuses. Because if once you look at a situation and say, you know what, there's just no more leverage to be gotten from wax figures, what do we do next? And the answer, Tom, will startle you and maybe appall you. But the answer is, instead of creating wax figures, create real people, but put wax faces on them.
What are you talking about?
Oh, this is just on a recent episode of what's it called? Britain's Got Talent. Britain's Got Talent. Yeah, Britain's Got Talent. If you look off into the stands, the audience of Britain's Got Talent, you'll see two very familiar faces. They will be the faces of Prince Harry and Princess Meghan. They will be the faces of Prince Harry and Princess Meghan, but they will be wax faces on top of people who are not Prince Harry and Princess Meghan, and they will be looking at each other and laughing. So their faces will not move, right? But their heads will move and their bodies will move. It reminds you, if you look at the video, it's very reminiscent of the Burger King thing. Remember with the creepy Burger King guy with that weird Burger King head?
Yep.
That's what this is, except it's Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wax faces on real people. And as the headline in Huffington Post says, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wax faces on real people will give you nightmares. The fake Duke and Duchess of Sussex are just convincing enough to be unsettling. So what's funny, though, is I was watching a video. We'll have to put a link to this.
Who made these faces?
Madame Tussauds. This is a promo for Madame Tussauds.
No, you're kidding me. They did it?
No. They're now adding walking wax figures, human wax figures, to their portfolio of stationary wax figures, okay? It's going to be like, it's going to be like the footprints in cement up in Hollywood,
yeah,
where all the people in bad knockoff costumes come around looking for a buck so that you can take your picture with them. it's going to be like that, except Madame Tussauds. So here's the funny thing about this. I was looking online. There's a video that someone who was watching Britain's Got Talent. Now, when this was on Britain's Got Talent, it was kind of a surprise. So you didn't know, you looked off into the audience and there's, the prince and princess. You didn't know that those were masks when you were looking at them. And it's a video that someone shot from his camera of his television. And he's remarking at how the prince and princess look like statues and how appalling it is. Look, their faces aren't even moving. The guy said, it's like some Illuminati shit, he says, as he's taking the video of this. And it's hilarious because he's got this 3-minute-long video and he hasn't pondered for a moment that those are actually masks. It's the funniest thing in the world. And it is excellent PR for Madame Tussauds. There they are, Britain's Got Talent, prince and princess, except they're not. Appalling wax faces. Go online for yourself.
I give these really people credit. So they just sit around in meetings, they come up with strange friggin' ideas, and then they said, yeah, let's do it. Let's go put some wax faces on people. By the way,
wax faces are a heck of a lot less expensive than wax figures.
That's true.
So we just need to figure out how to get a wax face on someone and not suffocate them. But there are pictures of these two walking around and sitting across from each other, and it's great because
Harry's weird to me. It reminds me of that Eyes Wide Shut movie or something.
Yes, Harry's got a wide smile, and Meghan's just got a wide, grin. Meghan's just got a smile, but it's weird watching someone's head move and their expression never change. So, I highly recommend this.
Wow.
For thrill seekers and daredevils alike.
How do you find this stuff?
I don't know. That's Media Unplugged for this week. Please remember to subscribe to us at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or wherever you're listening now. You can follow Tom on Twitter at Tom Asacker and Mark at Mark Ramsey Media. Send us your questions and comments using hashtag Media Unplugged. If there's a media topic you want us to cover, tweet us. Of course, you can also email us at mramsey at markramseymedia.com and tomasacker at gmail.com. Catch up on older episodes at our website, mediaunplugged.net. Special thanks to the producer of Media Unplugged, Jeff Schmidt. Exciting audio for media. You can find him at jeff-schmidt.com. For Tom Asacker, I'm Mark Ramsey. Thanks for listening.